Hello friends and welcome to Ask Dr. Heather. My name is Dr. Heather Carton and this is a place where you can ask your hottest or most current questions going around your head about health and wellness topics. It's called Ask, Act, and Achieve. So I will actually do my very best to help you answer those questions and give you some action steps so you can actually achieve the optimal health that you want. So I know yesterday we said we're going to talk more about obesity and obesity numbers, but actually my inbox filled up last night with cold and flu. So thank you, Cindy, for joining us. Please note this is meant to be shared for everyone to have information how to be healthier and avoid the cold and flu, or if you have one, get over it naturally quicker throughout the holiday months. So please go ahead and share this with your friends or family. So we know that colds and flus are very prevalent this time of year, either because you're in a cold area or kiddos are bringing it home, or maybe you're a teacher or you're a nurse and you're trapped in a hospital or in a big warehouse working. There's not good ventilation or a lot of people's immune systems are compromised. So number one, as a chiropractor, I'm definitely going to recommend that you do get good chiropractic care because it frees the nervous system to help allow your body to remove the interferences to allow your lymphatic system to start draining. Number two, we spend a lot of our times in our bed. So remember that. So if you think how many hours you're sleeping, or if your kiddos are having colds and flus and you go to bed at maybe the kids go to bed at 8 o'clock, they wake up at maybe 6 or 7, they're spending 10 plus hours in their bed. Plus if they're with little ones and they're napping, lots of hours spent on there. Our lymphatic system doesn't drain very well when we're actually laying down. So get those sheets changed. You can actually throw the pillows away. I know there's really expensive orthopedic pillows, but after practicing for more than 20 years, I found it very valuable. Actually, go buy the economical pillows that you can throw away once a month, especially if you're a mouth breather or if you have a CPAP on. All that stuff bleeds and drips all over your pillows, plus our dust mites, plus things in your hair if you have coloring or shampoo or hair gels and don't shampoo at night. All that stuff can actually be laying on your pillow and in your bed sheets, and the dust mites feed on the dead skin, and then what happens is it makes it really hard and clogs up your lymphatic system from your nose to your sinuses to your ears to your throat. So change your bed covers. Make sure that I generally have people use white bed coverings just because they can be cleaner. You can keep the dyes can sometimes trap some particles in there. And again, I love those health covers that you can actually buy, or the dust mite free covers that you can get at Target or online that you can actually change every single week to help keep some of those things away from your mouth as you're breathing in and spending many hours in bed. The next thing is actually get some moisture into those areas. So you're going to see a lot of people saying, you know what, I use a neti pot, I use some sinus mist, I use some sinus rinse. Well, that's, I think, absolutely wonderful to do once or twice a day with your normal oral hygiene care, but also get some moisture into the air. So use a humidifier in your bedroom, especially if you have big, tall ceilings or you know you don't have good ventilation, and make sure that you clean those filters every single year. Don't just pull them out and use the same one from last year without checking that filter. That's super important. You can get all types of even black mold on those filters if they sat in your pantry for over a year and you just pulled it out. Another trick we used when our kids got older, not when they were little, is we have a big spa tub. We actually would let the kids take a bath in there, or if I take a bath in there, we let it fill up and then we don't drain it, and the water can sit and evaporate throughout the house. Or maybe you're baking, and as your oven cools, just put a pan of water inside your oven, leave the door open as the oven cools off, and that will actually get more moisture into the air. So these are some really economical ways that you can help get your body more hydrated. And what happens is with colds and flus, think of it if you never wash your hands. If you never wash them from day to day, that's the same thing that happens in your sinuses, that you're breathing all this stuff, and when you're laying down, it's dust mites, it's hairspray or baby powder, or even makeup if you don't wash that off can all be coming in there. Even things from CPAP filters not getting in there, all comes into your nose and into your eyes, and then it doesn't get out. So how do we do it? We need to wash it out by keeping it nice and moist. And even getting a new toothbrush or boiling your toothbrush once a week can also help really clear those out. So I love everyone saying that, yes, sinuses are a mess. I probably had 100 questions. Please, please, please talk about that. So number one, we talked about chiropractic adjustments. Number two, better bed hygiene, which means get those pillowcases changed, get those sheets changed, get a dust mite cover on there if that may be something that you're very prone to, a dust mite allergy. Also getting more moisture in the air, using very safe things like little noses or saline spray, especially if you're traveling a lot, like in airplanes or even in buses or things like that. They really, really get dry and the air is pretty stagnant. Make sure you get a lot of moisture in there. And then foods that you eat. You knew I talk about foods. So if you don't like hot and spicy, I'm going to tell you, you might want to like hot and spicy, because hot and spicy definitely get your sinuses draining, which is a great thing. So a little sriracha sauce, a little habanero, a little pepper here on your breakfast, on your bacon, on your eggs, or just have one if you want to do it, it will definitely get those sinuses draining, and that's what you want to do. Oftentimes people get annoyed by the drip drip, and so they take something, an antihistamine, to dry everything up. Even if you take a natural antihistamine, it dries everything up in your sinuses and it gets stuck here. We definitely want that stuff to drain out. So eating some hot and spicy foods can definitely be beneficial. I was going to grab an ear candle and I forgot, but definitely ear candling is a great way also to get those nasal and ear passages getting to flow. Can be very, very good. Gargling with saline rinse is a great way also to get that going. If you've got people or kiddos, people, I don't know if you call your kids people, we used to call them people, young men, boys, but if you have children cutting teeth, you also want to make sure they're gargling with some salt water to help keep all that oral hygiene really clean, because that actually will flow into the mucous membranes or down into the lungs. Another thing you can do is sit in an infrared sauna. What it does is actually heat your body up. It can be anywhere from 100 to 140, but at 110 it starts to kill off bacteria and parasites and viruses. The same reason you heat up food to kill off the critters, you heat your laundry up in hot water to kill the critters, or your dryer. Make sure that you, make sure you check with your doctor before getting in an infrared sauna, but it's very safe to sit in there. It's great for your blood pressure. You can do some yoga, you can do some light exercises in there, but an infrared sauna will really get your lymphatic system going and flowing to help get those sinuses rinsed out. If you don't have access to an infrared sauna, get your body moving. So that would be at the gym, it would be at yoga, it would be doing things, yoga like down dogs, or doing some inversion type of exercise. What it does is it stimulates your body to actually increase the blood flow towards your head, and then when you stand back up, to drain back down. We know that any type of exercise, whether it's weights, it's bicycling, it's running, all those things actually help get your lymphatic system moving and get your whole body movements, which will actually help increase your body's natural pH. So it will help not allow critters to actually grow in your body, so to speak. And we'll talk about vitamin C in just a minute, but exercise can be a big trick to help getting your lymphatic system going. Lots of different essential oil recipes people are sharing these days. You can use them on your sinuses, you can use them on your lymphatic or your cervical chain lymphatic through your throat, on top of your body. Yes, you can use them orally, but not all of them, so make sure you check the bottle on the bottom of your feet. Things like acupuncture can also help with cold and flu. These are all natural remedies, not all home remedies, because chiropractic and acupuncture are not home remedies, but things that you can do that are natural, non-drug remedies to actually help your body be the healthiest it can be over the cold and flu season. And then other things, because people always ask me about what vitamin should I take. Well, vitamin C actually makes your body very acidic, which is a great thing, because when your body's acidic, then critters, bacteria, viruses, and parasites can't grow inside your body. So adding 2 or 3 grams of vitamin C, and really what happens if you get too much vitamin C, you just get loose bowels, but that's okay. It gets stuff cleaned out, so just back off a little bit. So if you have more questions about that, just let me know. Usually we have people start with 2 grams of vitamin C or 3 or 4 grams of vitamin C, and then when you get loose stools, just back off 1 or 2 grams, and that will tell you where you need to be for your dosage of vitamin C. Also, adding a healthy probiotic with the mixed strains of probiotic can also help keep your body healthy and well throughout the holiday and winter seasons. And then eliminating any foods that cause mucus and increase mucus production. So let's talk about that a second, because we're back to that food category. Remember, hot and spicy allows everything to drain. Using more saline, more salt water, those things actually help emulsify mucus and help keep those mucous membranes clean. Well, things like alcohol, sugar, cakes and cookies and pies, anything fermented, even kombucha, kefir, those things that are in cottage cheese, ice cream, they're all thick and mucousy, generally if they're coming from dairy. And think about what dairy is for just a second. It actually comes from a girl cow, but think about how much mucus is actually in cow's milk or sheep's milk or goat's milk or camel's milk, whatever milk you're using. So simply just use a nut milk this time of year, because then you eliminate all the mucus, and then you get the healthy antioxidants from using the nut milks. But even things like cheese that are fermented, or sauerkraut, or again, or kombucha, fermented things actually can increase your likelihood to have candida or have a yeast infection. So oftentimes we get diagnosed like you think you have a sinus infection, but you have no fever, and your mucus isn't a green color. It's just kind of a white, clear, maybe a tinge of a yellow color. That can be more of a, not a bacterial, but more of a parasitic or yeast infection. I know a lot of people have experienced that. They have a true infection, bacterial infection that's green. They've got fever or higher fever. They're warm. Your body temperature is increased having fever. So 102, 103, definitely definitely see your healthcare provider for that. But people can take an antibiotic and then subsequently get a post-secondary infection called a yeast infection or candida infection. So what we have you do is use a good probiotic, eliminate all the sugar, because sugar feeds yeast and sugar feeds bacteria. So whether it's a bacterial infection or a yeast infection, I'll talk about that just a minute, Tina. I see your question there. Then we're going to have the same advice. Eliminate the sugar, eliminate the fermented food, skip the alcohol, eat healthy greens, and that even includes vinegars and apple cider vinegar and all those things you've heard, and local honey. All of those things are sugar and fermented, because vinegar is just fermented grains. We don't want to use those because they will feed yeast and also bacteria. So how do you find out if you have a yeast infection? So there's about 4 different ways, Tina. You can actually do a stool analysis. You can do a blood analysis to see if you have candida, whether it's IgA, IgG, or IgM. There's different antibodies that actually tell you if you have it. Stick your tongue out. If it's white and pasty, like when kids had thrush, that's pretty positive for a yeast infection. If you have just a lot of, not clear, but a kind of a white mucusy with a tinge of yellow, or you have itchy ears, itchy feet, with jock itch or athlete's foot, you get itchy itchy feet, thickness of your toenails. Those are all signs of candida. But yes, you can medically test it through stool or through saliva or through orally. There's a great test that you can do. It's online. I'll actually post it down here, Tina. If you go to YouTube and candida spit test, what you do is you just take a glass of water. It's clear. A clear glass. You set it by your bed before you go to bed tonight. Do your normal oral hygiene, brush your teeth, and do your saline rinse or oil pulling, whatever you want to do. And then you simply just spit in your glass. And then if you get streamers down your glass after you spit it first thing in the morning, that means you have a candida or yeast infection. If it just bubbles, like if you just and spit in there and get bubbles, and I'll post a picture, then it means you don't have a candida infection. It's actually in the mucous membrane. It doesn't mean you don't have one in your gut. It just generally means you don't have an active one in your sinuses or in your oral cavity or canal. But that is a super economical way to do it. I have patients use that all the time. Is that really simple test to see if they have it. And again, you can go online on YouTube, but I'll post it down here. But if it's bacterial or if it's candida infection, the same thing, no sugars. You generally use a different probiotic though, because you definitely don't want to use one probiotic if you do have a candida infection, because there are some probiotics that actually can accelerate or feed the yeast, and that's definitely what you don't want to do. So hopefully I'm just going to review those few topics we talked about tonight to have a healthier flu and season. And the last one I forgot to talk about was sleep. Sleep is when our body rests and repairs. So we talked about making sure that your bedding is clean. I like white bedding better. Make sure that you're changing your pillows, the whole pillow itself, like every month, change those pillowcases. Once a week, you can get those allergy-free covers, making sure your mattress is getting flipped and getting clean. All those things can really help your body's defense, because if you're spending 8 to 10 hours, your kiddos or yourself, in a bed, it makes sense that you're breathing all that stuff in, and the dust mites are feeding off that. That's going to actually feed that. And if you can't get proper sleep because your immune system's working all night long to feed the critters on the bed, you're not going to get very restful rest. So first of all, make sure that you're getting really good sleep. Make sure you're getting humidity or water in the air. We talked about using humidifier or leaving some water in your bathtub as long as you don't have little kids around. Also making sure good chiropractic care can help get the lymphatic system moving. We talked about eating hot and spicy foods to stimulate your mucus production and get things really flushing out, and using, again, simple things like little saline rinses. Other things you can do at home is a nice big Epsom salt bath in the tub. Just make sure it's not too hot, but we know as our body, our skin's our largest organ, will absorb all those natural elements from the Epsom salt. It will help balance out our body's pH to help fight anything that could be going on at the microscopic level, whether it's bacterial or viral or parasite. It's a great way to, again, just balance out your body's pH or electrolyte balance, so to speak, and stay really well hydrated. Oftentimes we confuse, maybe your nose feels really, really dry, but you're just not getting enough water, because it is dry this time of year, especially with the furnaces on here in the Midwest or big tall buildings. So those are hopefully some healthy tips to help keep your body healthy naturally without any type of surgery or any type of pharmaceutical intervention. But always make sure that you check with your normal healthcare provider before starting any new treatment, whether it's natural or not. But I'm sure your doctor would say, yes, drink plenty of water. Yes, change your bed sheets. Yes, make sure that you're getting plenty of moisture in your body and in your environment, also to speak. Again, there's a lot of different essential oils you can use to use that. Exchanging some of your sugary drinks. So we talked about sugary foods. I just want to talk for a second just about bone broth. I guess I had a big list here. You guys can see this. I was not going to do the whole list, but I'm getting questions here. But bone broth is grandma's recipe. So I titled the topic, Hippocrates said, to eat when you are sick is to feed your sickness. So what he's referring to is if you're eating sugary foods, foods and juices and breads and crackers and noodles, that's not actually going to help your immune system. You need to eat things like healthy bone broth. You need to eat things that are nutrient dense and rich, that actually help your immune system fight diseases, not things that actually feed the disease. And remember, when you're eating, you're either feeding a disease or you're fighting it. That's the same for cold and flu season. So you want to eat lots of healthy greens, lots of local meat if you can get it, healthy nuts and seeds that actually feed your immune system and make it strong, so it can actually help fight everything else that's going out in the environment. So I hope I answered your questions, all the people who messaged into me. And again, please share this. This is meant to be shared to help other people who may be fighting cold or flu season, or maybe there was an aha moment like, oh, I never thought about eating spicy foods, or you know what, I've never been to a chiropractor, you know what, I've never tried an infrared sauna, or I've never tried essential oils, or you know what, I haven't been exercising. That makes sense that my lymphatic system is slowing down because I've not been doing the workouts that I used to do in the summer, and you're not sweating like you used to in the summer. So that's where the infrared sauna exercise component comes into play, and making sure you're getting that bedding super clean. So this is Dr. Heather saying have an amazing, wonderful evening. I'm going to I'm going to answer a couple questions here, or actually, Jennifer, I'll come back and answer those so I don't keep everybody too long. But she said, I've had a sore throat the last week, no other signs. So you can get your flashlight and look in there when you're looking for something like strep. Again, your doctor can check that out. You don't want to find white pus pockets, red streaks. Those are all signs that there could be some bacterial infection going on. But it being dry and scratchy, you can definitely gargle with salt water. You can definitely do some oil pulling. I like to oil pull with sesame seed oil or with coconut oil. You can actually make some natural toothpaste that will actually help clean and help your sore throat. So gargling with those type of things can definitely help, and make sure you're well hydrated. You can also use some essential oils on the outside of your skin that will actually help that lymphatic system drainage, so it will help actually ease the dryness of your sore throat. There are lots of different herbal sprays that you can use as well to help with the sore throat, but just make sure if it's getting too tight or too swollen, please check with your healthcare provider. But first of all, I would eliminate any sugary foods because that causes inflammation, which causes constriction of the vocal cords and the throat. Again, stay well hydrated, drink lots of things that are nice and warm, soothing throughout the day. I love to put a little bit of lemon, or I like to drink, actually, I'm going to tell you my exogenous ketones warm, the raspberry lemonade and the sunshine, Harvest Sunrise warm have been the number one and two things I use when I'm talking a lot, because I've got 2 more talks tonight. So that's one thing that I can use to help keep the inflammation down, keep feeding my throat, and keep feeding it a cellular energy, and keeping my immune system nice and strong. So thank you guys for joining me, and thanks for writing in. I will let you know what our next topic will be based on what my inbox says tomorrow. So if you have questions, please drop them down below. If you're watching a replay, let me know. Put replay down there. Put a little picture of your nose or Christmas emoji that you love. And then if you've got questions, drop them down below, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. You guys have an amazing evening.